Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of our concert reviews. This one's fresh on our minds because we just went the other night. Of course, look who is sitting beside me in the Zoom from in the Prague seat, Mr. Anthony Ferraro. What's up, Anthony? How are you?
Hi, Pete. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks for doing the show with me the other night. That was great. I was very happy to attend that. So we saw John Anderson and Paul Green's Rock Academy, which is kind of like a school of rock sort of thing with all teenage musicians. I think mostly, what, 16, 17-year-olds, I think most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was at the formerly the Lyceum Theater in Sugarloaf, New York. It's now called the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, and it's been there for a million years. And I live in Orange County. I've lived in Orange County most of my life. I've driven past this place a million times. The other night was the first time I ever saw a concert there, believe it or not. And Anthony and I were just talking off air before we went live that traditionally and historically, this theater was mostly for like plays and like, production type things and not so much music, but it's been taken over. It's under new management now. It has been for the last couple of years. Now it's called the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center, and they're really pushing live music there and getting in name acts. So, I mean, this is John Anderson from Yes, right? This is a fairly name act here. We got Todd Rundgren coming up. Yngwie Malmsteen and Zebra were there recently. There's all sorts of other acts on the calendar going forward, but a very small little town. I mean, Sugarloaf is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Anthony drove up a number of hours to come see this show, and he was probably surprised that like there were the lack of anything in this area. It's basically like a small little town, Sugarloaf, New York, with a couple little cool little arts and crafts shops, a pub, and not much else. And a post office, right? That's probably about it. A little Mexican restaurant. It's about it. But the theater's right there as well. So, and I think it holds what, 600-700, something like that.
700 seats, yes.
Yeah, 700 seats. Really,
700 comfy seats.
Really comfy seats. Like, so for most of you watching, how often have you gone to see a concert or a ball game or whatever, and you're all crammed in and you're sitting in these seats that barely hold your ass cheeks, and you're like literally shoulder to shoulder with the next person, no room in front of you for your legs, and you're like, all right, this kind of sucks, right? Well, we found that these seats were comfortable. You had more than enough room in front of you, and you had a couple inches between each chair. I mean, Anthony and I were sitting, Anthony's buddy, we were all sitting there very comfortably. We weren't on top of each other. You could sit back, you can cross your legs, you could sip a beer, whatever. And really comfortable. The acoustics were great. It was really clean on the inside, the floor area. And then you had like a little balcony area as well. Really good. And, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I've never seen Paul Green's Rock Academy before. And this whole concept was kind of new to me, other than, seeing the School of Rock film, right? Which I thought was really cool. I'm like, God, that'd be kind of cool to see something like that. Well, I never had until a couple nights ago. So of course this show was on the 17th. Yes. So 17th of July. And basically, to open the show, they had just the kids, so just the Rock Academy, come out and play. What they play, Anthony? About 40 minutes, roughly.
They played close to 50, actually.
Close to it. I was just under an hour. I thought so. Without John, and they did a bunch of covers, all sorts of different, rock classics, some prog. I mean, they did King Crimson song. They did
the King Crimson song was One More Red Nightmare.
Yeah,
blew us all away. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And just to give everybody perspective, there were roughly 30 kids, I think, maybe a little more. And almost all of them are multi-instrumentalists, and a good chunk of them were vocalists as well. So you would have, like, for one song, you'd have this, young lady up there singing, and that the female singers were dynamite. And they're up there belting out a song. And then, like, for the next song, you have additional people come off, some come on, and the singer, she would go and get a Rickenbacker bass and start belting out this great stuff on the bass, or moving over to guitar or drums. And that the whole night was like that. It was like literally like all these kids they all played multi-instruments, and they would just go on and off the stage with each song. They get replaced by somebody else, or they go move on to another instrument. And the skills that they have at like 16, 17 years old is pretty crazy. and I found like really inspiring. Like,
Well, and plus they had to try out to get on this. This isn't something that, you sign
right,
up for. You actually had to sign up. You had to try out for this.
Yeah.
And and John only takes the best. So
Yeah, that's the thing. And one of the the one girl singer, the brunette, she had the black top on, the brunette. She also played bass a few times during the evening, and she was really good. And in fact, she played on Heart of the Sunrise, and we were all like, holy cow. I got to chat with her for a couple minutes after the show, and she was like, oh, I'm mainly a singer, but yeah, I play a little bass. And I'm like, you play a little bass? I'm like, really? It's like you were doing all Chris Squire's lines up there, like it was nothing. She goes, well, we all play many instruments, but I really, singing's my thing. And I'm like, all right then. So I mean, that just goes to show you the talent they have to have. And if you go on,
plus I don't think they know the impact Chris Squire had on the music world. I mean,
probably not.
That's something.
Yeah, they're probably so young, but Anthony's correct. You actually have to go through an audition to get into the school, and the tuition is, it's not inexpensive, right? But so he does. If you go onto the website, I think it's not a prerequisite that you have to play multi instruments, but it is kind of,
it helps.
It does help, yeah. So anyway, so they go out and they play a bunch of songs without John, where you have various folks singing and playing and whatnot, lots of cool covers. And then John comes out, and the first Yes song they launch into is Owner of a Lonely Heart, which kind of kicks things off in up-tempo, upbeat fashion, I guess. Pretty cool. And then they played Seen Olga People, which honestly, here's the one thing. I leaned over to Anthony at one point about halfway through the show, and I said, this is probably the best Yes concert I've seen in at least 15 years. And I wasn't joking. Because, for me, Owner of a Lonely Heart, I've seen Olga People. I've seen Yes play that way too many times that I care to remember. There are two songs that I really don't need to listen to on my own by Yes anymore, but you know what? I really got into both of them on this night. Right? I mean,
they were inspired. They were played. He did it live, and he was inspired by it. It wasn't one of those ones where, oh, I gotta play this song tonight.
Right. And from a viewer perspective, it's not like, oh, this song again. All right.
People were into it.
Yeah, everybody was just up and just totally getting into it. And we might as well say it now. John sounded incredible. He
defies the law of age. I mean, he's 77, going to be 78 this September. I've seen him. I've seen him 3 times in the last 3 or 4 years. I've seen him once with the Academy. I saw them once last year in Phoenixville. It was kind of a different group of kids, but a similar set list. But vocally, he just sounds like he did 30 years ago. And I mean, he takes care of his voice, or he just has that, that God-given thing where he can belt out the songs like he did 30 years ago. It's magical. It's angelic. It's just. And I think he knows he's got a gift, and he's going to keep going until he can.
There was no cracks in the voice. There was no weakness. I mean, he literally was on the entire time, which was great to see. And I saw him with Wakeman and Rabin a number of years ago. God, that seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it actually was now.
It's 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, so it's like, the years are just flying by. And I thought he sounded better this night than he did that night, although he sounded great then too. So I don't know. But from there, they played Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, which was kind of neat.
Right into Don't Kill the Whale.
Right into Don't Kill the Whale, because he's like, we're going to do some mashups now that are songs that are kind of played in the same key that can just kind of, segue into each other, which I thought was kind of neat. And then we got, to me, one of the highlights of the evening. They played Leave It from the 90125 album, and they had a whole bunch of the kids out front helping out with all the a cappella vocals and everything like that. It was very cool.
He pretty much let them do the whole song.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm out here, but I'm gonna he knows the kids are enjoying it, and he'll let them have it. One song, what the heck.
Yeah. And then
plus he did not do that song when I saw them last year. That's one tune they did not do.
Oh, so that was new. Okay, cool. That must be a surprise for you then. Yeah. And then we got Lose Yourself by Eminem, which I am not.
That was odd.
Yeah, I am not a fan, but the one kid who sang it, obviously he sang it impeccably. He sounded just like Eminem, and I'm sure a bunch of the kids are into hip hop and rap. So, whatever. It was what it was. What else we got here?
Now that went right into State of Independence, didn't it?
Yep. John Evangelista.
Every time I've seen him, he plays that song.
Well, and even now it's all more relevant, right? Because Vangelis just passed away. He didn't really mention anything about Vangelis.
No, not at all.
Which I thought was kind of weird. What else do we get? We got "Fly Away" by Lenny Kravitz. Right?
Yeah,
which was pretty cool.
But mostly the kids sang that.
Yeah, which was pretty interesting. Long Distance Runaround,
which was right into Fish.
Into Fish.
That was magical.
Yeah, that was really good. Some really good guitar playing going on, and the one young kid who was playing bass on that song, I think, was playing sax or trumpet or trombone, or maybe I don't know. He was playing horns earlier, off in the corner.
Yes, I think he was playing sax.
Yeah, I think he played sax, so that was pretty cool. And then after the Fish, you had two of the ladies played dual acoustic guitars, "Mood for a Day."
Yes, that was awesome.
Which was really, really cool. And then next up, they played "America," which was, always great vocals on that. I thought that was really good. And then to close out the first half of the set, they played "Heart of the Sunrise," which is another of the really cool songs that they played during the day, and lots of blazing guitar work from a couple of the kids who were playing guitar. And I if I remember correctly, I don't remember if it was during Close to the Edge or "Heart of the Sunrise," the one kid with the long blonde hair who was kind of like the metal kid on stage. So he played this wild little thing, and then he goes the women, and he goes like this real quick, and we were like, yes, and he was right in front of us. It's like, that's the metal kid on stage. Gotta have
that was we didn't see that coming from a mile away.
No, not at all. He was doing all these hammer-ons and stuff, and then he's like, I was like, oh. So then they broke for about 15 minutes, and then of course, and we didn't mention at the top of the show, but this tour is kind of commemorating 50 years of Close to the Edge, obviously. So they had planned to play the entire album in its entirety, which they did. I wasn't kind of sure what to expect, like how long the set was going to be. I think what surprised me is that they played that album in its entirety, but like right in the middle of the entire evening. You got a lot before and a decent amount after, which was kind of cool, I thought. So we got all of Close to the Edge, all of "And You and I," and all of "Siberia True." It was great. I mean, impeccable. The fact that these kids, learned all this. The drummer was great. And again, they switched instruments after each song, which is really cool. So you got really nice flavors of all the different guitar players and people on vocals and, drums and keyboards, and just really, really cool stuff. And, I've heard Yes in its various incarnations play all three of those songs numerous times over the years. But this I thought was really, really special. And John sounded amazing, especially during "And You and I." Sounded really good.
As I said, he defies everything. I mean, he's 77, and I don't think there's any way out there like that with as much wear and tear in his voice just from singing for so long. But it's magical, it's beautiful, it's angelic, it's right on pitch. It's John Anderson. Yeah. That's why, like, anytime I get a chance, I'm going to go see him again here in a couple of weeks because he's playing right in my backyard. I'm going because I don't know how much longer he can keep it up.
You might as well. Yeah. If he was playing back around here again, I'd probably go because I thought this was pretty amazing. And then we got, as kind of like the two last songs, you got a nice lengthy "Starship Trooper," which was great. Again, more really cool guitar work from the kids, which is always a good thing. And then again, a song that I've heard a million times, and I'm kind of like, I never choose to listen to "Roundabout" on my own, but it was fantastic.
And it got everybody dancing, and
everybody was up totally getting into it. And so all told, the entire show was just about almost 3 hours. Started at 7 o'clock on, you had a couple little intermissions, but it was finished at 10. So just a shade under 3 hours. And
it was about 10:30, Pete. When they were done. It was with the 15-minute break, you're looking at about at least 2.5. It was about 2 hours and 15 minutes. He's in fantastic shape. So, and then, we had the wife in front of us.
Yep. She
helping him with the words. And
Yeah, he would always look down it because she was in the front row, like literally right in front of us.
Am I not? Am I okay? I'm up here. Am I saying anything stupid, hon?
Yep, which is cool. And she was totally into it. She had a big smile on her face the whole time. And his dad.
That story he told about how he got connected with the Academy, where they were playing the Spectrum in 2000, and he went backstage and he met them, and they told him that they were playing some Zappa, and he's like, oh, Zappa. And then they sent him the cassette tape of Part of the Sunrise, and he said, well, that's a hard song to play. And I was really impressed. And I met him, I think, a couple months later in a show in LA or something. But just funny when he said, oh, Zappa. Like he had that look like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not learning any Elton John, right? It's like Zappa.
No.
Yeah, and then they asked him if he would, come out to their performance, and he's like, sure. And he did show up. He goes, I made a point to make sure. And he goes, and that started a long relationship that they still have to this day. So pretty cool. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do, if the Academy does other, works with other artists out there and does similar type things. I know the kids are still going to school and everything like that, but it would be.
I guess it would be like, does the artist want to do that? That's the key, I guess.
Yeah, you really need someone who wants to kind of hook up with them and then kind of take them under your wing. And it's got to be a thrill for the kids. But yeah, like in talking to them, they're like, yeah, this is fun. We get to.
I don't think they know. They might not know till later on what kind of impact that was. I mean, this is John Anderson here.
I know, right? I know. And again, they're just kids, right? So I can just imagine like some of them probably because I remember being a kid growing up and starting to play guitar, and you're totally into it. You don't want to do anything else. And they're probably just like, they go to school and they come home and they just play their instrument for hours and hours on end, because some of them are so good that it's like, God, what do they play? Like 12 hours a day?
Yeah.
So yeah, but the one kid was like, yeah, I don't. One of the guys who was standing next to me, he's like, oh, do you all read music? And it's like, oh, some of us do. He goes, I don't. And it's like, oh, you play guitar that good and you learned all these songs without reading? He goes, yeah, I listen to them and I play them back. I watch YouTube videos. I go use tablature. And it's like, so, and he was just very nonchalant. I was like, yeah, we're going back to school in early September, but this has been fun. We love riding on the bus, and we're all friends, and this is but you can tell they're into it. They're into it, but yet they're very humble, and they're just kids, and I think some of them may have bright futures ahead of them in music. Some of them may move on to other things, but I don't know. I saw a lot of talent the other night, and I'd be surprised if some of these kids don't wind up doing some really big things, but we'll see. I'm just
one thing we noticed is talent. Some of the kids were hamming it up too.
Oh, they totally were. Yeah, there was one of the guitar players, the really tall one. I mean, he was just totally into it. He kept going all the way up the front of the stage, and he's looking at people. It takes his shirt off at the end, and so yeah, some of them were really really into it. A couple of the girls were really into it as well, and but I think it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was to me, it was very inspiring. John sounded great. The kids were awesome, and it just it made me feel good to hear these songs that, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that I don't get too inspired watching Yes play these songs anymore. And this to me made these songs fun again.
Well, it's almost like you can tell he wants to do it. He's enjoying himself. This is not just a phone it in type of thing where, oh, I got a tour, or I got to do something. No, he's loving this. I think he knows his time is limited, and he still has the gift, and he's going to use it as long as he can.
Yep. So it was good. A great night. One of the most enjoyable concerts I've seen in a while. I mean, the whole night I had a big smile on my face, and I was just really enjoyed it. And like I said, I don't get that from Yes anymore. Sadly, this was great. And as great as John was amazing, and he obviously is the guy who sets this all up and makes it all happen, but the kids were, I think, a big part of what made this whole concert so enjoyable. I mean, it's you got to have the both there, and the kids brought the music to life, and John sang it all impeccably, and that's what it's all about. So a good night. So for all of you watching, I don't know how many more dates he has on this tour.
He's probably got he's playing 3 more dates in PA. I know that he's playing the Keswick. We're filming this on a Tuesday, so he's playing the Keswick on a Wednesday. That's sold out, actually. Wow. Then he's playing Greensburg, which is outside of Pittsburgh, and then he's playing Ardmore outside of Philly sometime in August. And I'm going to see him August 3rd It's on a Wednesday in State College, which is about 50 minutes west of me. So I'm going to go to that. It's a little theater, about 500 seater. Rundgren's played before, Zappa plays Zappa. So they get some decent small prog acts.
So those just the PA dates? Does he have any others left?
Yeah, then he's got that's all I can remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, well, I figure the kids have to go back to school, so there can't
And
be.
I think he's playing Ohio, a couple, a date in Ohio, and a date in Iowa, and a couple in Illinois too. Like
Okay.
St. Charles is one of the theaters he's playing.
So there's probably realistically only about 4 more weeks left before the kids get ready to go back to school. Yeah, so that makes sense. Cool. Well, if you get a chance to see it, folks, go check out John Anderson and Paul Green's Rock Academy. That is the tour, 50th anniversary or Close to the Edge. If it's coming to a town near you, I would highly recommend going. Trust me, you will really enjoy this. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is another edition of our concert reviews. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together,
all the damn time.
For Anthony Ferraro, I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon here on the channel. Till then, be good, everybody. Good night. Have a pleasant evening. Take care. Bye-bye.